pages today, including the International Herald Tribune.
That's right. Here it is, and this quote from his speech yesterday: "My fellow Americans, we are made for this moment, and we will seize it so long as we seize it together." And you see that photo there of him entering the stage in Washington, D.C.
Okay, and a lot focusing on what the tone of that address, a very liberal tone.
That's right. According to The Guardian, on their front page, it was a very progressive speech. Obama unashamedly embraced a liberal agenda, and you see there he put the gay equality on center stage, as well as immigration rights and climate change. Now, inside, the Guardian points out that his speech was even better than the first time. According to this article, usually a president's second inauguration address is less utopian and more businesslike than the first one. But Obama broke with tradition, and instead of delivering a speech in what they call sepia tone, it was in Technicolor. His speech was much more idealistic, strident, combatant, and determined than his first one, according to The Guardian.
Very much in tune with The Guardian's own views, I think, that speech. But all eyes on Obama, but also on the first family, Michelle, and of course his daughters, Malia and Sasha.
Absolutely. This is a really sweet article in the New York Times today that says that on a day that was anything but normal, Obama's girls appeared just that. And you see a photo of them there with their cell phones during the whole inauguration there. Now, Michelle Obama has often said that she wants her daughters to have a normal childhood. She says she's winning in this battle. Now, yesterday, there were all sorts of photos of them appearing on Twitter. It seems like Twitter lit up with excitement every time they did anything. Look at that pose there. For instance, when at one point Sasha Obama yawned during the ceremony, and one Twitter user said, "Every time Sasha Obama is on screen, she isn't paying attention to anything. I really love that about her." So it seems like people were thrilled with the fact that they're just normal teenagers.
Oh, she's definitely winning some fans there. And as, of course, he took the oath, President Obama was joined on stage by the Supreme Court Justice, other former presidents, and a former desperate housewife.
That's right. This is no joke. Eva Longoria was on stage with him, and this is a very serious article in the Wall Street Journal Europe that points out how this 37-year-old actress is taking on a new challenging role as a Hispanic activist and a power player in Washington, D.C. Now, the Hispanic vote was very critical in this last election in delivering Obama his victory, and Longoria has often went on the campaign trail for Obama, but it says that, according to this article, that her role is now changing beyond just fundraising and speech-making into policy and strategy. And in fact, she's hired one of Bono's advisors to help her make this transition.
An interesting one to keep an eye on, I think. But moving on to another story, Israel is heading to the polls today, as we've said in the news bulletin. How's the Israeli press covering that?
Well, Eitan Harber in Yediot Ahronot is less than enthusiastic about this election. He says that millions of Israelis are going to vote for the best of the bad lot. And he says that there's a severe leadership crisis in Israel. There doesn't appear to him to be any first-rate leaders. And he says that the problem is that this crisis comes at a crucial time. He says that the reality around us is changing drastically, whether it's because a rise of Islam along Israel's borders, or the economic crisis, or the fact that Israel is increasingly isolated on the international arena. Libération was looking at another angle that's getting a lot of attention in the press today, and that's the rise of rise of religion among many young people in Israel. According to Libération, many young Israelis are returning to religion, even though their own families aren't necessarily very religious. And according to Libération, this return to religion on the part of young voters is most likely to benefit religious parties, especially religious parties on the right.
Okay, and just finally to wrap up, we mentioned it briefly, Prince Harry is getting a lot of attention in the British press. He gave his first interview after a tour of duty in Afghanistan.
That's right. The Independent says that Harry finally opens fire on the press. He lashed out at journalists for publishing photos of him frolicking nude in Las Vegas last year. He also says that army life is probably as normal as it's ever going to get for him.
Wow, yes, I can imagine that's probably true. And he clearly did want to value his privacy, even in a Las Vegas hotel room with strangers. Thank you very much, Dee Florence, for that look at today's international newspapers. Well, let's get a reminder now of our top stories and a look ahead to what's happening here.